On the news, new electoral era birthed as President Buhari signs Electoral Act Amendment Bill into law. Judgment comes as court sentences billionaire kidnapper Evans to life imprisonment. And Russian troops enter Ukraine's capital, moves to topple Zelensky. Glad to have you join us in news now. I am Mary Kanu. And barely a week to the expiration of the window, President Muhammadu Buhari had to take a decision on signing the re-amended electoral bill. The president has finally signed the Electoral Act Amendment Bill into law. The president assented to the bill on Friday at a brief ceremony held at the council chamber of the Aso Villa in Abuja. Despite heaping praises, saying the bill contains salient and praiseworthy provisions that could positively transform elections in Nigeria through the introduction of new technological innovations, President Buhari asked the National Assembly to expunge a section of the Electoral Act which he says is in conflict with the country's constitution.
This, however, cannot be said about one provision as contained in the proposed bill, which provision constitutes fundamental defect as it is in conflict with extant constitutional provisions. Section 84, subsection 12 constitutes a disenfranchisement of serving political office holders from voting or being voted for at conventions or congresses of any political party for the purpose of the nomination of candidates for any election in cases where it holds earlier than 30 days to the national election. The practical application of Section 84, subsection 12 of the Electoral Bill 2022 will, if assented to by operation of law, subject serving political office holders to inhibitions and restrictions referred to under Section 40 and 42 of the 1999 Constitution as amended.
On the part, President of the Senate Ahmed Lawan and Speaker of the House of Representatives Femi Gbajabiamila, who witnessed the signing of the bill, said the passage of the bill into law will bring a turnaround in the country's electoral system.
This is a fulfillment of one of our cardinal objectives in our legislative agendas in the two chambers. And of course for the administration too, this is one very important piece of legislation that this administration will bequeath to Nigerians, especially when it comes to the electoral environment, where we always feel that we must improve on what we have met, and by the time we leave, the electoral climate must be better in terms of integrity.
I believe it's a landmark piece of legislation. And it has far-reaching, and I mean far-reaching implications of the provisions contained therein. I can count offhand at least 10 to 15 provisions in that electoral law that, if properly executed by INEC and the people who the laws are made for, it will be a turning point.
2007 was when the journey began, and in 2010 progress was achieved when the electoral bill was passed, which seemed like a landmark, but then there was still a lot of progress to be made as come 2022. have witnessed a new electoral era with the signing of the Electoral Act. Now, to help us better understand what this development entails, I'm now being joined on the news by Jide Ojo, political affairs analyst. Thank you for joining us. Now, let's begin. It's been a long time coming, and I must ask, how big a deal is the president signing the electoral bill into law? Would you say this would make our elections better and our democracy into one of the best in the world?
Definitely. I want to congratulate all Nigerians, people of goodwill, the media, civil society, INEC, National Assembly, even the president. I congratulate us. I feel proud to be a Nigerian today. I've been involved in the advocacy for the passage of this bill for a long time now. And it may interest you to know that this is the fourth amendment. This is the fourth amendment we have having in 22 years. The first Electoral Act was in 2001. Then there was an amendment to that. We have 2002 Electoral Act. We have 2006 Electoral Act. We have 2010 Electoral Act. Now we are having 2022 Electoral Act. It is gratifying to note the very beautiful and very innovative provisions in this bill. I don't know if we have time to run through some of them, but suffice to say that in answer to your question, definitely this will help to deepen our democracy. This will help to show up the integrity quotient of our elections. This will help to make votes to count better. And I'm very proud to be a Nigerian today.
Now, I must ask you, despite the praises from the president, he, however, faulted Section 84, subsection 12 of the Electoral Act, which stops serving political office holders from voting or being voted for. Now, according to him, this runs contrary to the provisions of the Constitution. Now, are we to expect a re-amendment of the bill?
Well, I think if we have 158 clauses, and the president could only fault a sub-clause, because it's not even the entire clause. If you read his speech, he loaded some sections which he highlighted: Section 3, Section 9, Subsection 2, Section 30, Section 41, Section 47, Section 8, Subsection 9, 10, and 11. Now, in Section 84, he now faulted only sub-clause, which is the one that has to do with resignation of political office holder before they can contest election. I think with all sense of responsibility, it is something that could be dealt with expeditiously. However, I must state that this is, as small as it is a sub-clause or a subsection, now that it is officially a law, we will no longer call it a clause, but a section. Now that the president has faulted Section 84, subsection 12, there are two ways to deal with this issue, and I will encourage National Assembly to deal with it expeditiously. It's either the National Assembly makes it a priority and rework the bill, and strike. The president has given a leeway. He said just strike out Section 84, subsection 12. Strike it out. You are not reworking it. You are not re-amending it. Just say that Section 84, subsection 12 does not exist, and that will take care of it. Otherwise, the Attorney General and Minister of Justice can approach the court to get the court to strike out Section 84, subsection 12. I feel that that sub-clause or subsection must have been included in bad faith. Because, like the president said, Section 40, subsection 42, Section 40 and Section 42 of the Constitution has guaranteed the right of political appointees to vote and to be voted for in an election. And it has also said, if you are a public servant and you want to go and contest election, you have up to 30 days to the election to quit. I recall that the chairman of the Governors Forum and the current governor of Ekiti State, when he was a minister of the Federal Republic, I needed to go and contest for the governorship of Ekiti State in 2018. He was still the minister as at the time he got the nomination, as at the time he got the ticket of APC. He only resigned when it was constitutionally 30 days to the election. And that should have been left as it is, given the fact that even Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila is a senior lawyer and should have known that this provision of Section 84, subsection 12, will run contrary to constitutional provision. Well, there are consultants to National Assembly, and they should have known that this will run contrary to constitutional provision. But be that as it may, let them do that subsection.
I'm afraid for want of time that this is how much we can take on the news. But Jide Ojo, political affairs analyst, thank you for your time and your contributions. Moving on, following the signing of the Electoral Act Amendment Bill by President Muhammadu Buhari on Friday, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) says its management will hold an extraordinary meeting on Saturday. INEC's National Commissioner and Chairman Information and Voter Education Committee, Festus Okoye, made this known in a statement on Friday. Okoye said the meeting will offer the electoral body the opportunity to brainstorm on how the newly signed law will affect the 2023 election timetable and adjust accordingly. He also said the Commission will, after the meeting, issue a notice of election for the 2023 general elections to help facilitate preparations towards the poll by the Commission and political parties. And the Lagos High Court in Ikeja has sentenced kidnap kingpin Chukwudumeme Onwamadike, popularly known as Evans, and 2 others to life imprisonment. Justice Hakeem Oshodi handed out the sentence to the trio on Friday after convicting them on 2 counts of conspiracy and kidnapping of a businessman and managing director of Maiden Pharmaceuticals Limited, Donatus Duru. In convicting the trio, Justice Oshodi held that the prosecution had successfully proved a charge against them beyond a reasonable doubt. He concluded that the evidence tendered before the court, especially their video confessions, corroborated their guilt. And in a similar development, 3 suspected killers of Abdul Karim Ibinala, the son of a senator representing Kebbi South in the National Assembly, Senator Bala Ibinala, have been arraigned before the Kaduna State High Court. The suspects were arraigned on the 3-count charge of culpable homicide and robbery punishable by death under the State Penal Code law. During the arraignment of the suspects before Justice Amina Bello on Friday, counsel to the 3rd defendant filed an application pleading with the court to grant his client bail on the ground of ill health. The plea was, however, opposed by the Solicitor General of Kaduna State and the lead prosecution counsel, Dari Bayero, who noted that such application can only be considered when the plea of the 2 ordered defendants had been taken. The presiding judge, however, directed the registrar of the court to seek legal representation from the Legal Aid Council and adjourned the case to March 21st for further mention. And aides to senators and members of the House of Representatives under the aegis of National Assembly Legislative Aids Forum (NASLAF) have accused the management of the Federal Parliament of diverting the 25 billion naira meant to pay the arrears of their minimum wage for 21 months. Chairman of the forum, Salisu Zuru, while addressing journalists in Abuja, threatened to lead its 4,000 members on a peaceful protest on Wednesday, March 2nd, 2022 to demand the money. However, the clerk to the National Assembly, Amos Ojo, denied that, speaking through his special advisor on media and labor, Austin Adesoru, the CNA described as baseless, speculative and unfounded the allegations by the NASLAF.
There was a environment offense to 25 billion. That environment was meant to offset arrears of minimum wage and also liabilities owed local contractor. The management in its wisdom did set aside 5 billion naira to offset allowances, arrears of minimum wage, while the rest 20 billion is still domiciled with the central bank, because such funds are not meant to be released to the management to actually offset such liabilities. So that 5 billion was shared between legislative aides, National Assembly staff, and staff of the National Assembly Service Commission. Considering the large number of aides, the money could not offset the total allowances owed. As soon as more funds are assessed, the legitimate allowances, not those that are illegitimate, will be looked into.
National Assembly owes legislative aids 5 months outstanding 2019 salary arrears, 20 months minimum wage arrears, 21 months, 20 months notwithstanding. After exhausting all peaceful means of resolving these injustices, ESCO is left with no option but to activate Plan B to actualize our demands. Accordingly, we call on management to, as a matter of urgency, attend to the following demands within the next 2 weeks.
The Acting Controller General of the Nigerian Immigration Service, Isa Idris, has identified interagency synergy as an indispensable requirement for the management of migration in Nigeria. The acting CG made the call at a closing ceremony of a 4-day intensive training for staff of Nigerians in the Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, on modern migration management in Abuja. On her part, the Chief Executive Officer of NIDCOM, Abike Dabiri-Erewa, stressed on the need for the two agencies to collaborate for better positioning to communicate accurate immigration issues with the diaspora community.
NIS has over the years prioritized citizens' diplomacy through passport intervention programs, where many of our students in diaspora facing difficulties in processing their travel documents are identified. Such services are taken to their corridors. We are daily innovating and expanding our digitization to enable us achieve higher responses rate on our services delivery windows. We shall continue to evolve pragmatic reforms effort that will continue to place the country as a preferred foreign direct investment destination in Africa. I would like to thank the course participants as well as the facilitators for this workshop for their time and resources expended. I also wish to thank the chair of NIDCOM for her resilience and strong commitment to the national development. I share you our support. It is on this note I declare this workshop closed.
We hope that whatever has been learned in these last few days will only enhance our job as Nigeria Diaspora Commission and our partnership with immigration. You know, we can't do NIDCOM without immigration. Fact. And that is why it's important to share information, to collaborate, to talk to one another, and see how we can enhance service delivery. So thank you very much for doing this.
We'll take a break here, but still to come, FIFA suspends Zimbabwe and Kenya over government interference. Details of the story and more right after this break. We're glad to have you back as a recap of our top stories tonight. Barely a week to the expiration of the window, President Muhammadu Buhari had to take a decision on signing the re-amended electoral bill. The president has finally signed the Electoral Act Amendment Bill into law, despite heaping praises, saying the bill contains salient and praiseworthy provisions that could positively transform elections in Nigeria through the introduction of new technological innovations. President Buhari asked the National Assembly to expunge a section of the Electoral Act which he says is in conflict with the country's constitution. We also told you that following the signing of the Electoral Act Amendment Bill by President Muhammadu Buhari on Friday, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) says its management will hold an extraordinary meeting on Saturday. INEC's National Commissioner and Chairman, Information and Voter Education Committee, Festus Okoye, made this known in a statement on Friday. Okoye said the meeting will offer the electoral body the opportunity to brainstorm on how the newly signed law will affect the 2023 election timetable and adjust accordingly. Well, in case you missed any of the news bulletin or for more updates, do log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Google Plus at TV360 Nigeria. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online. The Nigeria Center for Disease Control (NCDC) has logged 34 infections across the country. In an update on Friday, the agency revealed 4 new cases were recorded in 3 states. Rivers State topped the chart with 15 cases, while Lagos and Abia State logged 14 and 5 cases respectively. No death was recorded on Thursday, leaving the fatality figure at 3,142, while the country now has a total of 254,428 confirmed cases and 248,850 recoveries. And Italian Prime Minister Mario Draghi says the country will end its COVID-19 state of emergency by March 31st, 2022. Draghi, in a broadcast address, said despite the return of normalcy to the country after more than 2 years of the COVID-19 pandemic, the country would continue to monitor the pandemic situation in case of another outbreak. Italy currently operates a 2-tiered Green Pass health certificate system with proof of vaccination or recovery needed for access to everything and many workplaces in the country. We'll take a break now and return with business updates.
In the last 3 years, we have built a multi-purpose center, which is the envy of all in our constituency. And I can tell you that the people who are living there are already enjoying it.
Guy, do you think what this man just said is true? See, I seriously doubt. I'm sure it's one of those their silly lies.
And wait, do you know there's a way to find out if these things he's saying is true or not? This is the Construct app. It gives people like us a sure way to track implementation of constituency projects. It gives valid and verified information on location of projects, amounts allocated, amount funded, the level of job done, and even the profiles of concerned legislators. You and I can post directly on this app.
Are you serious?
This is the Go-To app if you want to know how our Commonwealth is being expanded by the government.
Wow. Let's even see if what this man said is true. Show me.
The Construct app is developed by Other People Nigeria with support from USAID and is available on both Google Play Store and Apple Store.
And it's true.
Of course, I told you.
Welcome back. Simisala Digo is standing by with business updates. Simisala, over to you.
Thank you, Mary. Welcome to business. Criticisms continue to trail the sudden spike in the prices of airlines tickets as most domestic airlines peg their minimum fare at 50,000 naira. The airline operators of Nigeria lamented the high cost of jet fuel, foreign exchange scarcity, inflation, and increase in ground handling charges, as well as cost of buying and importation of spare parts. During plenary on Tuesday, February 22, Gashion Basi of the PDP Cross River State, while expressing worry that the increase in airfares would heighten the pressure pressure on the neglected and dilapidated Nigerian roads, asked the federal government to declare a state of emergency on the roads. Speaking on this development in an interview with TV360 Nigeria, President of the Aviation Safety Roundtable Initiative, Gabriel Olowo, said that airfare prices are governed by market forces, adding that the increase in the fares was necessary in order to meet up with operational costs, which he said had become excessively high.
We need to sit down and face the fact that we need strong airlines on ground. We need to pay the right tariff. If you can't afford to fly by air, for God's sake, other alternatives are there for us, and we must be ready to face the consequences of our choice. And now newer flights, new aircraft cost money. Maintenance costs money. Fuel is increasing. Exchange rate is galloping to 600. To my mind, as an economics and an aviator of many years, we must expect higher tariffs. If the volume increases, as it should be, volume can drive down price. But when you find a flight going in the morning 100% full, returning midday almost empty or 50% empty, that volume is not there. The aircraft, like I said, are not expected to fill all the 120 seats in the aircraft to break even, because I'm selling at 10,000 naira. When I sell at 10,000 naira to carry volume, I'm going to burn more fuel. I'm going to land. I'm going to burn my tires. I'm going to burn my brake, and my expense on that full flight is higher than, let's say, if I carry 40 people paying the tariff that I needed, and I break even. So the higher tariffs that I get, the better my operation.
We'll go on a short break and be back with stock market reports. At the end of the last day of trading on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, markets ended bullish as investors gained 101.29 billion naira and all-share index inched up 0.12% to close at 43,328 basis points. Current market capitalization still stands at 25 trillion naira. 109 NGS equities participated in trading on Friday, ending with 21 gainers against 17 losers. Topping the gainers list is eTransact and Royalex, both gained 2 naira 66 kobo and 1 naira 25 kobo respectively. Together they gained 3 naira 91 kobo. On the flip side, Cortex and NEM Insurance emerged the top losers, losing a combined 6 naira 50 kobo. Now, at the end of the last weekday of trading on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, a total volume of 253 million valued at 2.754 billion naira exchanged hands in 4,266 deals. The market ended well for our select global stocks, UK's FTSE, US Dow Jones and Japan's Nikkei, as all three ended in the gainers territory. Stocks rose on Friday as traders eyed the latest development in Russia's invasion of Ukraine and the world's response. Actually, this good fortune spread across global equity indices. However, investors are advised to maintain adequate liquidity to take advantage of any big fall in the markets and buy quality stocks on major falls. Well, that's all on Stock Market Review. It's back to Mary.
Well, thank you for that update, Simisola. And now on the global scene, Russian troops have entered Kiev, the capital of Ukraine, a day after the invasion of a country on the order of Russia's President Vladimir Putin. The troops are reportedly moving to seize the capital and topple the government, with Kiev reportedly being attacked from the air, with residents taking shelter in underground railway stations. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said he was the target of the Russian invasion, vowing not to abandon his country. And now in sports, FIFA President Gianni Infantino has called for a rapid cessation of the Ukraine conflict while confirming that Russia's game against Poland next month is being reviewed as a matter of urgency. Russia is due to host the 2022 World Cup playoff with Poland on March 24th and if victorious another on March 29th against the winners of the Czech Republic and Sweden, and these federations have demanded the matches be moved. This comes as the football governing body FIFA has also suspended Kenya and Zimbabwe football federations for government interference in the activities of football associations.
FIFA expresses hope for a rapid cessation of hostilities and for peace in Ukraine. FIFA condemns as well the use of force by Russia in Ukraine and any type of violence to resolve conflicts. Any type of violence. Because violence is never a solution. And therefore, we call on all parties to restore peace through constructive dialogue. And of course, FIFA continues to express our solidarity to the people affected by this conflict.
Well, on that note, we call it a wrap on the news. Many thanks for watching. I am Mary Kanu.